Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey and Literature. I'm Captain Mike, and this is my 2024 whiskey wrap-up. I was doing my Excel spreadsheet a couple of days ago, going through my receipts, making sure I could account for all of my bottles, and I thought it would be maybe fun to share some stats with you from what I purchased in 2024. How many bottles, how much I spent, what was my first and last, the cheapest, most expensive, which bottle did I have the most fun drinking, which was my most disappointing bottle, maybe the worst bottle of the year, kind of thing. I use a spreadsheet. How do you keep track of your bottles if you do? Do you use a spreadsheet or an app? Do you buy so few bottles you don't bother, or so many bottles it's impossible? I'd be interested to know. And what was your bottle count for 2024? And before we get to that, I just want to say a big heartfelt thank you to everyone who's commented, liked, and subscribed to my channel. This is a one-man labor of love. It's almost like a hobby as opposed, it's not a job at all. I've not made one dime from YouTube. Every dollar that I spend on this whiskey is just my own money. It's just something that I enjoy doing. I do thank you. I do read every comment that's posted on my channel. I reply to most of them, if not really all of them, for the most part. And I've appreciated those comments, those who have been critical, perhaps of me or the channel itself, and from ways to improve. I have changed some things thanks to some comments, and I do appreciate that. I've gotten good ideas for bottles to pick up or bottles to avoid. So anyway, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys very much. Okay, on to the bottles. So January 5th this year, 2024, my wife was busy, so I had a day or half a day to myself, and I just spent it driving around to the local liquor stores, and I came across an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C921 for $79.99. So yes, my first bottle of 2024 was a bottle from 2021. I do keep which Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs that I have a list on my phone, so if I'm out and about and I run across one, I can reference that and see if I have it, and if not, and I find it at a decent price, and I think $79 is a decent price, so I'm gonna pick that up. I did pick up all of the batches for 2024, but I'm always looking for these and filling in my my collection backwards as well. And honestly, I just opened this just very, very recently, and I've had a couple pours, and I do enjoy it. And I'll be talking about this because it's later in the video, because as I'm looking forward to 2025, I think there's gonna be a couple of changes that I'm making in how I'm purchasing my bottles. 112 bottles later, 2 days ago, December 28th, I picked up my last bottle of the year on the recommendation of my friend Scott, a Penelope Estate. Now Scott, he's got the Private Select. I ran across that and also the single barrel, and I picked up the single barrel instead for a couple of reasons. It is a 10-year-old instead of 9 years, and it is 105, so slightly higher proof. It is also the 36% rye mash bill, which if I'm drinking bourbon, that's definitely it's a nice amount of rye that I appreciate in the bourbon. It gives it a little more roundness, a little more oomph, I think. It's an MGP, of course, owned product. MSRP is $89.99, and I bought this at a store known in the Bay for carrying a lot of products that we love to purchase, but at sometimes an inflated price. And I did pay $99.99 for this bottle, which is $10 above MSRP, but I was happy to have it, and I'm willing to pay that as a premium to be able to pick it up. I've been looking for it for a couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere. So happy to have that. That review will be coming up shortly in 2025. So that puts my bottle count in 2024 at 113 bottles, which is an average about 9.5 bottles or so per month. That is also 65 less bottles than I purchased in 2023. Now there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I've been working kind of less since May, so my income has been kind of taking a hit, so I've been purchasing less bottles because of that. And also, of course, Hurricane Helene roared through the state here in the end of September. And if you look at my previous purchasing, my per month stats, my highest month was April. I bought 14 bottles for $1,687. But in October, November, and December, I only bought 10 bottles total. In fact, in November of this year, I didn't buy any bottles for my whiskey collection. I did buy one bottle of scotch. We were in Phoenix. We were invited to my son's soon-to-be father-in-law's house for Thanksgiving dinner, and I took a bottle of scotch over there. So I did buy a bottle in December, but I didn't include that in my collection and in my accounting because it was a gift for somebody else. But really, my income and the hurricane really just crushed the last quarter of purchasing for me. My cheapest bottle of the year is, of course, Jim Beam White Label at $13.99. This one isn't even opened. I do purchase, do I love Jim Beam White Label? No, but somehow I still go through 3 or 4 bottles of this per year. I mean, why not? It's a great pour. I think it's a great pour to have after you've had a couple pours of the good stuff. It's decent in a Coke or something. I do go through several of these every year. It does deserve a place on my shelf and probably should be on yours as well. This is the bottle, this pays the bills at Jim Beam. Do you think Booker's pays Freddie No's salary? No, it's Jim Beam White Label. So my most expensive bottle of 2024 is my most expensive bottle for the past 2 years running as well. So it is the Whistle Pig Boss Hog. This is not opened. This is batch 11, the Juggernaut. I also have 9 and 10. None of them are opened. I'm a Teamster. We're working on our contract. Every year I buy a bottle of the Boss Hog, and when we get that contract, I'm going to celebrate by drinking this whiskey. So pretty excited about that. I would love to know your thoughts. If you've had any pours of the Boss Hog 11, let us know. I have this philosophy after the storm to wear the hat, i.e. drink the whiskey that you purchase, and I don't buy my whiskey to flip. I don't buy it to collect. I buy it to drink. Just sometimes my purchasing velocity has outstripped my ability to drink it. These are the only 3 bottles that I have that I won't open simply because I'm waiting for the contract at work. Okay, if you see my last video that I published about whiskey, you know already what my most disappointing bottle of 2024 was. Not the worst bottle, but man, I had been looking for this bottle at a decent price for about 1.5 years. Finally picked one up. Never had a pour of Elmer T. Lee. Finally found one at $55, which I think is a decent price for this bottle. Or I thought was when I bought it, and now I'm having second thoughts. It's my fault in some ways. I hyped it up so much in my mind, it just couldn't live up to that. And it just fell very, very short of what I was hoping to have in this bottle. And I had a pour of Blanton's last night just to verify, because it is the same mash bill. And, that Blanton's was just, I thought, way better. And it's not superb or great, but it was a better pour than Elmer T. Lee. So my most disappointing bottle of 2024, Elmer T. Lee. The most surprising, the bottle that I enjoyed drinking the most was Booker's Beam House Batch 23-2. I've been kind of down on Booker's, thinking in some respects they're all, I've been like, why am I buying all of these Booker's? Do I want to spend so much money between Booker's and Little Book and all the other premium products that Jim Beam puts out? I don't know if you can hear that airplane. So I've been kind of down on the Booker's. And I purchased this in July. And in June, very first week of June, I bought 8 bottles of like really low proof whiskey. The Four Roses and Wild Turkey 81 and Old No. 7 and White Label and all these. I bought 8 bottles of these really low proof whiskeys. And that was what I was drinking for about 5 weeks until I found this bottle and I picked this up and I had a pour. And it just tasted so good after drinking those low proof whiskeys. And even more than that, we were in Orlando doing some training for work. And one of my coworkers, I knew him, but I didn't know him all that well. We never really had a full conversation. And come to find out, he likes bourbon. And he found out I have some Booker's and I had some bourbon in my room. And we shared almost this entire bottle. In fact, we would have killed this bottle. But I went out and bought a Knob Creek 12 year because I didn't want to drain this entire bottle there. So we finished with some Knob Creek 12, but this, I had the best time of the year of any bottle that I drank. Again, because I've been drinking the low proof whiskey, and because I shared this whiskey with a coworker, an acquaintance, who's now a friend of mine. You can't believe how much you have in common with people that are around you, and you have no idea until you sit down and you talk to them. We're both from different but high demand religions. We both have walked away from those. We're both family guys. We're people who love our families, and we work hard and provide and do what we need for our, man, I had such a good time sharing this bottle and getting to know someone better. And whiskey's great for that sort of stuff. We might have had a little too much a couple of nights, but we had a good time. And so anyway, here's to you, Christian. Okay, because it was such a big part of 2024, I can't not talk about Hurricane Helene briefly. I had 3 feet of water inside my house. I had some bottles that were low enough on the shelf that they either floated off the shelf or they were covered in storm water. And if we had 5-6 feet of water out in the street, and they're pushing into the storm drains and into the sewers. And so storm water is treated as sewage. And so the bottles, even the ones that didn't float off the shelf, I just can't get over the idea that they had this kind of water on them. So even the bottles that weren't opened, I threw them away. I just poured them out in the backyard and disposed of the bottles. And that was a total of 56 bottles. Some of them were open, some of them were not. The 2 that I am the most sad about losing will be my Jack Daniel's 10 and 12 year. Those I'm not going to replace anytime soon. I don't see them randomly sitting on the shelf, and I did overpay for those, and I was really, really sad to see them go. The replacement value for those bottles would have been $3,858 if you went out and bought them just straight off the shelf for what I paid for them. So that definitely hurt, and that decreased my my whiskey collection, my bottles, by about 1/6. So 1 out of every 6 bottles of mine, gone, thanks to Hurricane Helene. Okay, my total spend for my 113 bottles in 2024 was $10,707.15. That was $94.75 average per bottle, which is $12.67 more than my average cost in 2023. And I spent a total of $3,526 less in 2024 than I did in 2023. Definitely the income hit, and Hurricane Helene, it just took a just crushed those last couple of months. So I'm looking forward to 2025, and the effects of the storm are going to be long lasting on me and my family and my housing. So 2 things are thoughts of mine in 2025. First of all, I need to be more deliberate in my purchasing. I don't want to buy bottles anymore just because it came out. I've been doing that with the Elijah Craig barrel proofs. That is a good example. I'm now sitting on 12 or 13 barrel proofs. Some of them haven't even been opened. Most of them are less than a quarter of the way drank. And I'm like, why would I keep buying those bottles? Booker's is kind of the same way. Despite how much I enjoy drinking this bottle, I think, why am I buying 4 Booker's per year when I have all this other bottles, these other distilleries, these things I haven't even tried? I get recommendations from you guys quite often, things like Pikesville Rye and other things. Recently someone had a bottle of Black Maple Hill, and I'm just looking at all these other distilleries that I haven't tried. So I am definitely going to buy, frankly, less bottles in 2025 than I did in 2024. Because if I buy a bottle and have a few sips, it's going to go into storage after that. So I'm not going to stop buying bottles, but I'm going to buy less. And I'm going to go into my storage, get some bottles out, things that I haven't opened. I have plenty of bottles in my storage that I haven't. And I have plenty of distilleries that I still want to get out and try their whiskeys. And I don't, because I keep buying the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs and the Bookers. I don't know what my housing situation is going to be. I keep saying this every video, we're in the process of demolishing this house. And right now we're just kind of hotel hopping with the FEMA hotels. And so long term, it just doesn't make sense to get the velocity of 9, 10, 11, 12 bottles per month, open half of them and put the rest of them in storage and maybe get to them in 2026. So I know I'm gonna miss out on a lot of good stuff coming up, but it's just the reality of my situation and going forward. So I do appreciate you hanging with me. I thank everyone who's watching the videos. If you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Again, I do read every one of those and I take them to heart, most of them. There's a couple of guys and you know who you are. But for the most part, I do appreciate all of the comments and the things that you guys say. Again, I want to take 2024, crumple it up, throw it in the garbage can. My wife and I, we're looking forward to 2025. And I hope that you are too. I hope you've had a good holiday season with your family and loved ones. I hope you finish the year out nice and you have a good 2025. My guys, thanks for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, like it, subscribe to see more of my content. I do both whiskey and book reviews. But for now, my friends, you know what to do. I hope you're reading something good, drinking something great, and wear the damn hat. Cheers.